Hello there, and welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show. Today is December 16th, 2020. Today's show was Birchwood, after the beautiful ambiance of the Netflix show Burning Log that has been in the background these past couple of days as they've been filming. I am joined by Red from Maine. Red, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing great, Justin. Thank you for having me. I'm curious. Hopefully, your hamstring is okay after kicking some field goals.
It's a little bit. The doctor said I need like 2 or 3 more days of bed rest. So it was tough for me to crawl out of my bed and go over here. But I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it or anything.
It was impressive, man. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's something where you just got to take like a week. We'll see. Steve knows about that. I mean, so I've been just.
Hey, football player to football player. He knows.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, he broke his back. I kicked a ball.
Yep.
I mean, we're pretty much on the same level there.
Elite athletes. Yep.
So today there was some interesting stuff, developments in the Kirk Minahan world today.
Breaking news. Yeah.
Breaking news. Before we get to the breaking news, Kirk said that if there's going to be a day where he got shot, it would be today. And I'm going to say I'm a little bit worried because I texted Steve about getting a guest on the show and a couple hours ago, and he has not responded to me yet. So,
oh boy,
thoughts and prayers are with Steve and Kirk. I'm sure everything's fine. Actually, Kirk did just tweet out something, so maybe only Steve is the one who's hurt, and Kirk's just brushing that off.
Yep.
But yes, breaking news in the Kirk Minahan world: MILF no more. I thought Brandy Love was going to be a staple of the Kirk Minahan universe for the entirety of the run. I would have given you a million other guests who I think would have bailed on Kirk before Brandy Love did, but it's over. It's over. There's no. I don't know if you saw this.
Yes,
but Kirk just tweeted out that he is now blocked by Brandy Love on Twitter. She had a tweet today saying about something about that had to do about like, I don't need to deal with a man-child and his mini babies, come on my feed and shit like that. So, So it's over. It's officially done. This is not a shtick. This is not to hype up some sort of new Kirk Minahan show, Brandy Love, collaboration. Nope. It's over. I don't know.
This is just the beginning. No, understand. Now I understand that I saw the update from Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope in the new year that Kirk uses the Twitter app instead of surfing the web browser on his phone at some point. But I did see the update from him that he was blocked. This is still fixable. I'm a Brandy guy. She's my number one. I had a little known fact. She also follows me. We have a great relationship. I consider her a friend.
Okay.
I can solve this. She can solve this. We can work this out. This is going to be totally fine. This is just a bump in the road. She is a pro's pro. She knows how to finish. She can get us there. We can fix this. So I'm not too worried about this.
As Brandy's close personal friend, do you know the reason why?
Things get said. My theory is that Kirk is shadow banned. Obviously. So okay. I think that the unfollow came from Twitter. This is Twitter's fault. And then that sparked different things down the road. And then there was the clapback today from Kirk on Periscope. And then some Minifans were getting into it. Mima, especially, and some other folks caused this a little bit. They were getting after it, the Minifans. So I think that's what led to the block. This can be fixed. I know it can be.
So you don't think it's because Kirk acknowledges that Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States or something along
No. I believe that Brandy has thicker skin than that. She can handle a lot. She's taken a lot in her career.
Mm-hmm.
She can handle this. So I think this is going to be worked out. If for some reason we can't get Brandy back into the fold and be with us.
Do we want Brandy back in the fold?
Well, if we can't get her back in, I'm saying Maitland Ward is my number one, is the one that we should bring in because she fits.
You did just say Brandy was your number one. Oh, you mean your number one, like on the list of replacements?
Right. If we can't fix
yes,
Maitland's coming in. I don't know if you have a choice for somebody that could replace him.
I'm not a MILF guy. I'm not a MILF guy. I'm into those, like, It's called XCOG. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm
But
not. Is there Star Wars involved in this? Is this?
No, it's not. It stands for Exploited College Girl, and it's a video where the college girl, like, they come up, they fly her into Arizona, and she's like, oh, I'm so excited to do my first porn, and they bring her to a hotel room, they interview her for a little bit, you get, it's one of those things. I like the younger amateur girls. So me and Kirk have very different tastes in porn.
Exploited College Girl is this like the business that runs it? Is that the genre?
That's the actual name. It's a terrible name. But they do a great job.
It's terrifying.
Some real bangers came out of there. But I don't know if you know Remy Lacroix. If you know,
I've heard. Yes, I was doing some research today. I've heard.
She's my number one.
Okay.
She's got but she's like the opposite of what Kirk really gets into.
Okay.
So
right.
I'm not entirely sure she'd be good as the spokesperson or the official porn star of the Kirk Minahan show.
Okay.
But we got to find someone. I mean, Kirk put the call out today.
I think obviously Maitland Ward. Nina Hartley is another one who's on my list. She's been in the game for 30 years. I skew a little bit older in this, Justin. So Nina Hartley is one. She's a savvy veteran. Okay. She knows how to finish. Janet Mason is another one. She knows how to sell and she puts people over. She's a team player. And then Diamond Jackson was my last name. She's on the all name team. She's been working in the industry for 15 years. She's seen the peaks and the valleys. She knows how to finish when the time is right. Those are my picks. Do with that what you will. They're not exploited college girls. They're older women. I think it's appropriate. But
yeah,
judgment-free zone.
Yeah, I'll do some research later tonight on, like, I think it's called Moms Teach Teens, where a stepmother normally helps out her stepdaughter and her boyfriend learn how to fuck. I'll do some research. I'll try to find some older women that perhaps I could reach out to, and the show could reach out to, and perhaps collaborate in the future. But I thought Brandy Love was the perfect person. She's big on free speech. She's big on distrusting the media, not liking what the mainstream media has done.
Sure.
In regards to biases and shit like that. But I don't know. It's over. It's over. So I mean, as much as Red's going to try to mend this relationship, I will. I think this is over.
People forget, Justin. People have forgotten that she also helped Dave Cullinane through a tough time while he was in the waiting room, awaiting his next child. She was DMing with him, helping him through. She's a team player. I'm a team guy. We can fix this. That's all I'm saying.
It's very, I don't know, heartbreaking is really the country's been going through a lot in 2020, and this was tough.
Yep.
This was tough on a personal level, on a professional level. I don't know, real quick, but we'll wrap this up. I can actually contribute my job with the Kirk Minahan show to Brandy Love.
How so?
I went to Las Vegas in October of 2019. I sent Blind Mike and Steve a video of me at a strip club where Brandy Love was performing. I went up to her. I was very intoxicated, and I said, "Can we take a video for the Kirk Minahan show?" And she said, "Of course. I love the mini fans." And then she was saying that, she's like, "I'm with whatever this guy's name," and I'm like, "Justin. I think my name is going to be intern Justin." Because I don't know. I just decided I wanted to be an intern right then and there. I sent it over to Mike. I believe they posted it up on Instagram. It's hanging around somewhere. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it. But so I can actually contribute my spot on the Kirk Minahan show.
Is this the first time you've said this? Because I don't remember this story coming out. I remember that video. I remember her saying mini fans. I did not realize that this was.
No. I've mentioned this a couple times. It's not a huge. I'll put it out there. And
I remember that video. I remember that sound. I did not realize you were involved. That's awesome.
Yes, that was me. It was at a strip club in Las Vegas. Fun fact about strip clubs in Las Vegas: the full nude ones do not serve alcohol. So I paid $17 for a fucking slushie. Very strange. Very strange. I was like, "Give me something," and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, this is great. It's called Sex with a Showgirl, and $17." And I drank it. And I was like, "Oh, this tastes incredible," and it tasted incredible because there was fucking no booze in it. Well, anyway, I digress. So a special place in my heart to Brandy, but She's dead to Kirk. She's dead to the show. She's dead to me as well. So, Red, I know you're going to try to help me on the show, but we got to move on.
Okay. Thank you.
We could talk all day.
I could talk about all day
about Brandy Love. So let's go on to another completely normal celebrity who had a completely normal thing come out. Tom Cruise had a little audio leaked of him freaking out at some staff on Mission Impossible, I think 7 it is now, which is just funny in and of itself that there's been 7.
Are you a Tom Cruise guy? Have you seen Mission Impossible 6?
I have seen Mission Impossibles here and there. I'm a Tom Cruise guy, and I like the movies that he stars in, but I would see them if it was, Jason Statham or someone else. I'm not specifically going for Tom Cruise. I just like the action type movies.
He's got some great movies. He's crazy as shit, but he's got some great movies.
Yes, he's an incredible actor, and I think he should stick to acting because I did see, I don't know if you saw The Mummy, where he starred in. Apparently he had a big part in the direction of the writing staff and the production of that, and that movie was terrible. So
they're not all great, but the movies that I recommend and the movies that Steve mentioned, but he actually hasn't watched, are actually very good. Jack Reacher. Tom Cruise is also a Scientologist. He's into, I'm sure he loves science fiction. He'd be right in your wheelhouse. I'm sure you guys will be watching movies together. But he is certified crazy, and he sounded like a maniac today. But what I loved about the sound today, I loved the show today, the Kirk and Steve show. This was a big bounce back for a busy week for them. They had some great sound today. The Tom Cruise sound was awesome. The Greg Hill sound was awesome too. So I loved having that sound and those guys reacting to it. I thought it was a very good show today. So
do you think Tom Cruise sounded batshit crazy in that? Because to me, he sounded like a manager, like we have to get our shit together or we are no longer going to be able to do this. Right. If we want this industry to survive in the current state that it's in, we need to get our shit. I don't know if it was someone not wearing a mask, someone was walking around, they weren't social distancing, but it sounded like, listen, guys, it's not just us that this industry depends on. There are hundreds of people who are going to lose their jobs if we don't get our shit together. I don't really buy his thing where he's on the phone every night with production companies and with insurance companies and all this other shit. I'm sure he has someone doing that, so he might consider himself having people doing that, himself doing it. But good for him. I mean, stepping up. He sounded, it was very Kirk-like in his way of taking charge and saying, listen, we need to get our shit together. If we don't, we're done. We have to adapt to the times.
I know you probably didn't think of this, or maybe you're trying to not think, but it did remind me of the way that he's dressed you down a little bit. It reminded me.
When is he dressed me down?
Of Kirk just going after you and being,
No. Kirk's never gone after me.
That's never happened
like this.
So it reminded me of that a little bit. It reminded me of Kirk as a manager. I mean, it reminded me of what Kirk and Portnoy and others have been saying about business and what's been going on with the government and how they're kind of getting fucked over a little bit. And so it was actually really good. I just think, Tom Cruise is a maniac. So it's not really what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. So when Tom Cruise is doing that, it sounds crazy.
Whenever I hear Tom Cruise, I've seen documentaries on Scientology and shit that. Once you get a deep dive of that shit, it's just, there's no looking at Tom Cruise or Travolta or anyone the same.
No, I just need him to be Maverick, and that's it. That's all that I want.
Pretty much, which hopefully should be coming out sometime in 2020. I know Kirk said a couple weeks ago that he'd be willing to pay, what was it, $150? Right. I bet he'd pay more than that. I bet 4 figures he'd pay.
Oh, a lot of people would, man. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and think about it. If Steve would actually watch Top Gun for the first time, that would be amazing if he did that. So
I think Tom Cruise is just trying to not necessarily save his career because he's set. I mean, the man has millions and millions of dollars. He doesn't matter if Mission Impossible 8 or 9 ever comes out. He'll be set. But good on him looking out for the little guy.
Where is he on your list of celebrities? Is he on your list?
No, he's not on my list. Not a Tom Cruise guy.
Top 100? Damn.
No, he did not make the top 150.
Wow.
It's the Scientology stuff, man. It's just weird. It's just weird.
If he had only done a Star Wars, I think he would have made your list. If he just
if he did something with Star Wars, I mean, he'd probably make it, but it doesn't look like. I think Star Wars. He doesn't need Star Wars, and Star Wars doesn't need him. So that's that. But speaking of someone who needs someone, Chris Curtis today. Before we get into the Greg Hill stuff, Kirk called Chris Curtis, WEI. What's your name? Kirk says, "Hey, listen." He was complimenting him. He was going to compliment him. Hangs up just like that. What a pussy! What a turtling pussy! Can you imagine? Can you imagine this happening if Kirk was working and someone was trying to get into contact with Kirk, of whom like isn't just like a fan or someone big wanted to, if like Portnoy or someone wanted to congratulate Kirk on doing the new true crime podcast or something like that.
Right.
And he just hung up. I think that would have made for, I know it might be a WEI rule not to let Kirk on, but they're so fucking dumb because that would have been the most, that would have gotten thousands of hits on YouTube. It would have created so much buzz for the Greg Hill show, but nope. He just hangs right up because
it drives me crazy because somebody who's listened to Kirk since EEI and listened to Chris Curtis, when Chris Curtis was with Kirk on the show, he was a tough guy. He was out there, he would be flexing, he would be calling people, hounding them. When you have Kirk standing next to you, I think you're a lot tougher and a lot taller than you think you are. And then when Kirk leaves or he, starts turning, his anger towards you, it's probably different. So I get that, but it's really frustrating as somebody who loved Kirk and Callahan to hear what he is now and to realize everything that you listen to, similar to Howard Stern, is just a lie. Like Curtis is just a lie, man. And so he can't handle having Kirk go after him, even to talk to him there where he's going to praise him. He just can't handle it, man. He doesn't want that smoke. It's too bad because it could have been really good. And like you said, if he had let him on air, it would have been massive. Like when you guys were going over there, when it felt like it was going to be a radio war versus you guys, and Mike was going over there in the mornings, you were going over there in the early mornings, and they didn't embrace it and just go with it and do anything or say anything about it.
They would do like subtle hints. They'd be like, "Oh, some people have too much time on their hands," and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Right. Well, if you guys are dying on the vine, man, your show is dying. You're getting twos. Nobody's listening to you, and all you need to do is throw Kirk on the air, and you guys would be killing it. But they just can't do it. Terrible.
Well, let's get into Mutt and Callahan's replacement, whom the Twitter show account did point out that the Greg Hill show does have better ratings than Mutt and Callahan did. So props to them for that. Yeah. But what were your thoughts on his interview with Marty Walsh? Like I only heard about it through the Kirk Minahan show, which is interesting in and of itself, because I believe that if Kirk and Callahan had this interview, it would have blown up on Twitter. It would have been talked about. Right. Other radio stations would have picked it up. EEI is so irrelevant right now. No one's talking about it. Right. It's just swept under the rug. And I'll say, like, Greg Hill did a decent job. He brought up some certain things like, why are we paying, $10 million for bike lanes and all this shit while this stuff's going on? But I think the bar might just be set so low for WEI that when they exceed it, it's like, whoa, wow. I mean, good for Greg Hill. Kirk would have done a million times better job of making Marty Walsh look like a complete ass clown during that interview.
And it never would have happened, right? Because Kirk has Marty Walsh on one time to talk about, having kids sleep in his office, and Marty would never have come on again. So he's coming on with Greg Hill thinking it's going to be a safe space. And credit to Kirk for giving Greg Hill credit more than I think Steve wanted to let on. Like, for what Greg Hill is and what his show is, that was actually a very good interview that he had. I'm sure he'll probably never have Marty Walsh on ever again.
I don't think Marty's not coming back.
But they don't make any waves. They don't make any buzz, because I think probably even EEI doesn't even want to put that out on their social media to promote this interview that they had. The most promotion they got was from Kirk.
He probably got talked to.
Probably.
Greg Hill probably said, "Hey, let's really not go after politicians and shit like that."
Right. They just don't want any controversy at all, which it doesn't make any sense. They've been doing this now for how long? and the ratings keep going down, and they keep going this path, doing these things. They got to switch it up. They got to change it. They can't keep doing this, but they don't realize it.
What made that interview interesting was that it was the real Greg Hill talking. The
Yes.
Greg Hill, not the radio personality who, wants to know about, Cam Newton has nicknames for all the producers and shit like that.
Yep.
It's Greg Hill, the restaurant owner, Greg Hill, the businessman, who was like, listen, you are fucking us over. He wanted to say that, and he said it to the best of his ability. And if only they would do more of that, which is what they did when Kirk was there. Right. But they just refused. I guarantee I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they apologize on air for something.
I'm sure.
Something to do with Marty Walsh. It's gross when you look at exactly how big pussies are WEI is now.
Terrible instincts. They don't want the drama. They don't want the intrigue. They don't want to be interesting. I was talking about this we're talking about Gary Tangway and everything else. He's coming back on the radio. He could be so good, but they don't get into the interesting stuff. They just want to be the boring sporto, and they're just not going to win that way.
And they won't push back.
Right.
Because even if Kirk had this, let's say he had the exact same conversation with Marty Walsh and they said, hey, listen, we didn't like that. Don't do it again. Kirk would have said, okay, that's great. Fuck off. It's my show.
Right.
And he would have continued doing it. Greg Hill is not going to do that. Greg Hill is going to say, okay, I understand, and continue being a little lapdog for Arbano and Field and all those people.
So when that happens, Justin, are you cutting sound? Are you grabbing sound for Steve while they're in South Carolina? Because the thing that I thought today was how good those two sound clips were and how it was good to react to. And it was, I know that was down there.
I was busy doing something else last night.
Right. So, I mean, props to Steve and Kirk for grabbing that, because it was good today. The show was good.
No, it was great. It was great today. Today's show was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just like when you praise you praise Greg Hill like that, it's just because he just exceeded such low expectations. Because what we heard in the past with Fitzy being his you call that a catch, his stupid videos and shit like that. So yeah. One of the final topics I wanted to get into today was there was also an interesting segment where Kirk went over some ideas that the intern producer Matt Carano texted him.
Yes.
I believe it was yesterday. And
an idea came to him, Justin.
The idea for having a website for the new secret project, which isn't a terrible idea.
No, it's not terrible at all, Justin. It's not. Now listen, the last time I was on here, you got in a lot of trouble for talking about Carano. I feel like maybe I led you to that, and I want to apologize. I apologize. I don't. We're going to go down a path here. I just don't want Quantum Week Chris to get mad at you again and to corner you in some way later on the show.
No, that's perfectly fine. What Quantum Week Chris did to me on Justin and the Minifans, the penultimate episode of Justin and the Minifans, was completely fine. I deserved it. I stirred the pot. I stirred some shit. He came on. He defended this guy. That was completely fine. But I'm not going to take back anything I said or apologize. I'm not. I think I'm pretty fair and down the middle when it comes to. I know there are some extreme Carano haters. I know there are some extreme Carano lovers. I just thought it was funny today when Kirk's like, some incredible ideas. We got Socrates over here coming up with these ideas.
So when you're listening to that, because I'm hearing that and I'm like, Kirk is really sarcastically getting in to this, and he just keeps the joke going, which I love when he keeps that joke going and he just keeps beating it into the ground. But it felt like Steve was like trying to defend Carano a little bit and move off of it. I just wanted Steve to lean in and have some fun with it he's talking about, hey, Steve, I hope things are going well down there. An idea came to me. He just keeps going, example after example. It was hilarious stuff. I loved it. I hope that Carano doesn't get mad at us here talking about it now. I know that he had his a burner account, Justin's a liar guy.
I don't think
last time. Come on, Justin.
I don't think that was him. I don't. I mean, I like having burner accounts. I like the
That's a good one.
The Justin counter. So so he can have fun with that past 10 seconds there, trying to figure out how many that was. But yeah, it's I thought, I mean, hey, Carano's trying to help out. He thinks, hey, maybe, he could be in charge of creating this website. I see no problem in the initiative.
I know, but okay. So, and again, you're a very nice guy. So they have you come on the show, and Kirk and Carano had you call into the show, and they gave you such a hard time about not being an ideas guy, right? And then Carano's big idea, an idea that just came to him, was a website for a podcast in 2021, going to be 2021. His big idea is a website. So I'm coming to you and I'm saying,
website with like a map.
Yeah, map and all that. That's a great idea. Well, I never thought anybody would think of a website before. That's awesome.
Hey, you thought of it before I did.
My question is do you have an idea that you can come up with right now? I'm putting you on the spot that we can just dunk on Carano for right now. You got anything for this podcast?
Do I have an idea for the secret podcast?
Yeah, big brain stuff, bigger even than a website, which I know is impressive. Do you have any ideas?
A fake Facebook profile of whoever this true crime is about. You ever see those, like the fake ones? Yeah, it would be like, oh, like let's just say her name is
to stir some stuff up.
Princess Diana.
Yeah,
and there would be like a fake one. It could be like, oh, she smoked crack on this day, and like there could be like a whole timeline of things. So not just a website, but perhaps a Facebook profile where a timeline of things that could happen. So you could see it step by step of what exactly. Like I said, I have no fucking idea what this project is. So it could be it could relate to maybe Brandy Love has something to do with this. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't that be a fucking twist right there? That would be.
Well, I mean, you get a website first, and then you go Facebook, and then maybe MySpace. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I don't know. I mean, me and Corona, we have a conference call later. We're gonna talk over some ideas that I think are gonna go pretty well. So
I was debating. I thought maybe that possibly, like when he was running his Brazilian restaurant, if he had like that little small meal that you could have come out before the big meal. I don't know what you call it, but there's like something you could do maybe to dress it up, or you have something.
That's called the pre-meal.
The pre-meal?
The pre-meal, okay. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure he probably invented that probably too. I thought that was a great idea as well.
No. I don't mind. I think it's just he's just thinking of things, and I think it's funny that Kirk brings it up on air, and I'm sure Corona didn't get a response from him, which makes it even better, because it's just like, I know that feeling when you send either Steve a text and you just don't get a response. You're like, yep, that's going to be talked about.
Have you ever texted Steve and said, Steve, an idea came to me? Have you ever used that phrasing before?
I've never said an idea came to me. I've said, hey, I have an idea for something. And normally he says, okay.
What do you think he was doing when that idea came to him? Was he just like on the shitter, like in the shower? Where do you think his ideas come from?
Who, Corona?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably just in his house.
Ideas guy. Yeah, it was impressive. I was impressed. He's smarter than me. So.
Yeah. So speaking of Carano, there were 2 new parody songs today. Not by Matt Carano, but one was about Matt Carano. The Steve's a Liar guy. No, I'm sorry, not Steve's a Liar guy. Kevin from Bristol.
Yes.
And what were your thoughts on him? Did you like him?
I love the songs today for 2 different reasons. Anytime you can shit on Carano, I think is great. Respectfully. Also, Steve's a Liar guy. I think anytime he's writing a song about Mike Geary, I think it's going to be one of his best songs. For some reason, Mike is his muse. Like, Mike is to Steve's a Liar guy as in like Bruce Springsteen has his dad issues that he writes about, right? Like anytime that Springsteen is writing about dad issues, anytime that Steve's a Liar guy is writing about Mike Geary, it's going to be a great song. So it was phenomenal today. My issue with today with the songs would be Steve having the issue that the song was too long, it was too slow.
I didn't like that.
I mean, I don't understand what would Steve like Kevin to do with Desperado by the Eagles? Would he like them to speed it up?
I don't mind having a slow parody song. I think it kind of switches things up. Not everything has to be jumpy and quick one-liners every other line. It was nice. It was slow.
Kevin's gonna give you an epic song. Like it's gonna be too long or it's gonna be slow. It doesn't matter. Like it was a great song today. I don't understand. Steve was trying to undersell that thing. It was a great song. Great song. So. That was my main issue. Is I don't know what you would like Kevin to do with that song, but they're great songs.
Great songs, and they will be up on the network later tonight, right after I finish up some of these promos. We also have another Channel Zero coming out tonight at 9 p.m. So stay tuned for that. I know Menners is all excited about Menners to Midnight is back December 21st. I believe it's going to be at 8 or 9. I'll double check with him on that.
The YouTube is popping, Justin. You are turning things around, man. You are trying. So have you guys made a decision on what you're going to do for Saturday nights?
I'm still reaching out to some people. Obviously, it was actually recommended that you would be the new host of and the Minifans. I don't know if you would like to accept that position.
I don't know if that would be allowed, Justin. I'm not liked by the Kirk Minahan show, so I don't know that I would be preferable as a host, but I would love to be considered. I know there's a couple of guys who would love to be considered. I wouldn't mind taking that on and you guys trusting me with that. I think it would be a lot of fun. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not like.
Hopefully we'll square things up in the next couple of days. Tomorrow's show should be fun. I believe they are going to have George Ford on. So let's hope he has some hot fireplace takes and all that stuff. Did you hear it? I just had a couple of random notes. I like to do random notes. Did you hear in the show when Stephen Kirk found out that the Airbnb was discovered? Did you hear that in there? Oh, well, when they said, "Oh, look at this tweet right here," and he goes, "Yeah, we put up a lot of clues." Yeah, I mean that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
So I wanted to shout out Old Man Kirky. Chucky Meacham was the guy who I saw who found it right after Kirk's Periscope. I was like 6 minutes left in the show. It was awesome.
They'll find anything.
Yeah. So that's what Minifans do, baby.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up the wrap-up show. Thank you so much, Red, for joining us.
Thank you, Justin.
As always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Podcast links are in the description. And we will talk to you tomorrow.